To everyone here on the UK coaches page. Yes, you've got my name down there now. Look, this is all fancy. I'm SJ Rossiter, here today with the fabulous Milan Jensen. We're here with her live on Facebook and the UK coaches page. And Fridays are going to be doing a Q&A with a coach at all different levels. But today I get the absolute privilege to speak to this amazing lady. She's just recently been on one of these lines with Eric Worre, and I know I'm a bit of a fan of his as well. So it's I feel privileged that she's on here with us as well. But this lady was one of the first coaches to ever get started with Beachbody. She joined when Carl Deichler asked her to come and take a look at this, and one of the very first, and was actually, I think you were the very first person to join the Beachbody Team Beachbody as a platform, and was the first top coach. She's also one of the Million Club members. And I know she's probably got several six-figure earners in her business as well at the moment. An international speaker. She's going to be speaking at the Eric Worre women's event that's going to be happening in the month of April, which again is an absolute privilege to be invited to do that, because you have to be up there as one of the top networkers in the world to do that. She's currently a 9-star diamond with 2 business centers. Milan's favorite chocolate shake is the chocolate shake, and she mixes it with a cold brew coffee, which I absolutely love doing as well. I love that you mix it with cold brew coffee. I think that's fantastic to make a mocha one. And I know so many people here are kind of like, let's get cafe vegan latte. And it's like, you know what? Just mix coffee with it, cold brew coffee with it. It does the same thing. Your all-time favorite program is the Para 90 and yoga retreat, which I love too. Milan is a mum to three daughters with her husband, Kevin. They have 7 grandchildren, I'm reading here, 2 great-grandchildren, and 1 very sweet yellow Labrador. So for those of you that know me as well, you'll know I'm a dog fan, so I'm very keen on that one too. And you live out in the wine country in California. So Milan, welcome to the UK coaches page. I know that you are working with some coaches here in the UK already. It's great to have you on here. And I think, although I've kind of given an overview as to who you are, kind of tell everybody about, why actually you got involved with Team Beachbody. And I know it wasn't something you decided straight away. It took a little bit of arm twisting to do. So tell the UK coaches your story.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. Can you hear me? I just want to do a mic check. Yes, wonderful.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So my background, I kind of accidentally, my career on the corporate side ended up in network marketing, and it was by accident. I had never been asked to a meeting. I had never been actually to a home party. I mean, all the years that I was a young mom with my 2 girls, I wished somebody had asked me, but nobody did. And so I ended up being a human resources director for a network marketing company, and then found that I fell in love with the human development side of it. So moved over into sales and marketing and climbed that corporate ladder. But the challenge was that I was standing in front of thousands of people saying, live your best life, go for what your dreams are. And you can tell in your heart if you're out of alignment in the things you're doing in your life, if you're restless, like make a change. And I was doing all this. And then I would go to an empty hotel room to wake up the next morning, to get on a flight, to go say it again and again and again. And the problem was I wanted what our coaches have, but I didn't know how to go from a career I had built over to starting all over from the ground up. And there was a time when I physically, my body just couldn't take it anymore. I think sometimes as we don't listen to that still soft voice inside that tells us, this is not okay, eventually our body says, this is not okay. So that's what happened to me. And I, at the peak of my career, I quit to basically take better care of myself and started looking for a way to show other people that that's possible too. And, my dream has always been, my family immigrated from Holland. So I watched my parents as immigrants try to make it work in the USA. And my dream watching them was that for me too, there would be a way that I could create a business doing something I loved, where, something that I was really proud of every day. And the most important part of the success of that business was that I actually took care of myself and the people I loved around me. Because honestly, no CEO ever really cared whether I was healthy or happy, for that matter. And so that was the big dream. Fast forward to Carl having his big dream, which was he didn't want to just be a DVDs in a box guy. He wanted people to really get amazing results. And what he discovered when he talked to his customers was that it required a buddy. And so that's how coaching was born, really from the customers of Beachbody. When they started calling Kevin and I, because of our background, I'm like, the name Beachbody, I don't know. Back then it was $1 Million Body, which for me was even worse. And so I struggled with a lot of things that really don't even matter, honestly. But I think they asked us 6 times and we said no. So for those of you who have people that are giving you a no, just love on them. Just be true to who you are, because that's what Carl kept doing. And finally he said, just come spend a couple days with me. And I'm like, Kevin's like, it can't hurt to meet this guy. And I remember that meeting, and I remember the beginning at Beachbody. We didn't have anything, no computer, no Shakeology, no anything really, but a few products and some customers that were huge raving fans. And so that, I remember walking to the door and still not 100% convinced, not about the success of Beachbody or the dream that Carl had, because he was going to make it happen. I wasn't sure if I fit. I was probably 45, 47 at the time, and thinking, I'm not super athletic. I don't know. And I remember him tapping me on the shoulder, and he said, listen, we have got a lot of work to do in a very short amount of time. This was September. We were bringing founders in December. And he said, I think you and Kevin can really help us get this done. And, if nothing else, Milan, what if you could create a business that you love, where the most important thing to me is that you took really good care of yourself. And I left that thinking, he totally gets me. He totally does. And so, there's a part of this that's just a leap of faith, isn't there? I mean, where you just hope it works. And so that's the story of how I got involved. I wasn't an easy person. And it wasn't that I didn't want to. It's that it took a little while for me to answer the question, can I do this? Do I fit in? And will it be worth it? And, but it was, really it's been a dream come true because I have created something that I love, that I am really proud of. And I am so much better at taking care of myself. And now the real joy is showing other people that that's possible too.
Yeah. And how long ago was that, Milan?
So I'll never forget, because Kevin and I got married late in life. We got married in May of 2006.
Yeah.
They were calling us. I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, maybe. September, we went and saw Carl. So June, July, August. So 3 or 4 months later, after getting married, I go into the Beachbody kicking and screaming. My husband's like, I like the idea. So it's been 11, almost 12 years.
Fantastic. You know what I love about that as well is the fact that the stories are still the same. The reason why people come in and are a coach is that, partly because they want to be held accountable for themselves too in living a healthy life. And actually, when you're a coach, you kind of have to show up. There's that kind of accountability on your own self to keep on track. And it's a really good reason, if anything, to become a coach, because now you have to do it. It's like you're an example for others, even if it's one person. And so I totally get it. Since I've joined Beachbody, I've lost 20 pounds for that. I'm so happy. And that's been, I know, so it's just like, for me as well. And it wasn't until I looked back in my diary, I was like, wow, I've actually done that. But because I'm now leading a team, it's that accountability that's there and living your own life. That's amazing. Now, I know you're very passionate about developing new coaches that come through the system and that join us. And you've got a great kind of setup for coaches as they come into Beachbody and getting them started right. So I'd really love for you to share, how you create strong Emerald coaches, because obviously that's the first level on the compensation plan for us. It's the first kind of title that somebody can get given and opens up their business centers. But talk to us about, how you develop your Emeralds and, what you see out in the field as a coach.
Okay. So, here's the thing. What I know is that when we deliver a program to somebody, we have 100% certainty that if they follow that program, if they push play, if they, clean up their diet, and if they're consistent and show up for that, they're going to get results. There's like 100% certainty of that. I've never had that not work. But we also need that same certainty with the business side of things when we bring people into our team. And so I just want to address that, because if you aren't feeling that passion, or you have a little bit of fear or doubt around building your team, it's probably because you aren't as certain about that side of the promise that you want to deliver on as you are on the health and wellness side. And so if I do anything in this call, I hope that I spark that confidence that you can have about the business side of things. And so here's how that worked. When we began, we didn't understand binary. It was new to me too, and I had spent my life in network marketing. We didn't even pay attention to that. We just said, get to Emerald and build emeralds. Just get to Emerald and build emeralds. That's all we said. Now, I'm going to tell you that that was really an amazing blessing, because when I look at the coaches in our team who are volume strong, income strong, feeling confident in everything they do, it's because they did that. And so recently, I've really just reminded coaches, and launching the UK, it's a perfect time for us to really start on this platform of saying that the Emerald Coach is really the cornerstone of our entire opportunity. And we oftentimes think, oh, it's great to be diamond. It is great to be diamond, but it's not great to be diamond with people just sitting on a 90-point volume home direct order. You know, okay, maybe you have the people, but you haven't really built anything yet. So we really coach and teach in our Coach University. The first 15 lessons that we teach is all going to empower a coach on creating a customer base of 6 to 10 customers. 6 to 10 customers is going to get you to about 500 points every month, month after month. Now, some of them are going to be on home direct because they love Shakeology. You may have customers that have been on it since day one, never left. Others may or may not. You know, they may be on it for 3 months and then they've reached their goal, or they're back to bad habits. Who knows? You know, it's just the reality of it. So what we've really done, and what I hope you do, is to say to yourself, how do I become really successful helping 6 to 10 customers so that I can show somebody else how to do that too? And so we have a really clear plan on that. And it starts with a mindset. So there's 4 things to really building a volume strong team. And the first is the mindset that I'm not just selling challenge packs. I'm not just getting people on Shakeology HD. That's the premium solution. And honestly, when I meet somebody who is just kind of a hot mess, tried a gazillion things, doesn't know what work, I'm like, just trust me, let's start here. And we start with the challenge pack because it's the complete solution that we offer. But I might meet a woman across the street who's like, listen, I don't do shakes. Or, you know, who throws up some objection. And then I feel like I'm dead in the water because I don't want to become a convincing person. I want to be her trusted friend. And so I might say, listen, can we just work on your digestive system? Like, let's just try the 3 Ultimate Reset digestive aids and start there, which is soothe, revitalize, and optimize. And I just have her working on getting her belly healthy. And honestly, she's going to start losing weight a little bit too, because she's actually much more conscious. She's getting better. You know, so I guess the point I'm making here is to really broaden your product confidence. Look at the different products that we have and ask yourself, how can this product help somebody? Energize is great to get a teenager off of Monster drinks or any of those cruddy energy drinks they drink on their way to school in the morning. You know, there's a lot of solutions there. And so we always see ourselves in a mindset of helping people figure out what their healthy formula is. And their healthy formula is making nutrition simple, making fitness fun, and getting connected to other people so it becomes the way you live your life. Those 3 things. So if they already are going to a CrossFit gym, I don't try to get them out of that gym. I'm saying, okay, how's that working for you? And if fitness is great, awesome, then what are you doing around your nutrition? Like, how's that part of this working? So the healthy formula is at the heart of what we teach every new coach. You are out helping people figure out what their healthy is. And we have the best solutions for that. Second to that, it's get to 500 points, 6 to 10 customers. That's goal number 1. And in doing that, you can create a stable foundation for yourself, and you're going to feel like you're a coach. By the way, you're going to make about $125, so you're a profitable business at that stage. And you've got real customers, so you feel like you really got a tribe you're working with. Next step is find your 2 people. So that's the get to Emerald. And in getting those 2 people, your main job is to help them find their 6 to 10 customers and then teach them to become teachers. And that's where duplication happens. So my main job has always been with my personally sponsored coaches is to teach them how to teach their team to build Emerald. Once you do that, believe it or not, you're going to have this little Emerald tribe of 15 coaches. Your people know how to teach their people to become Emerald. You're now probably going to be about 15 strong. That Emerald's going to make close to $500 a month, every month, just doing that. They're going to be working with a group of about 15 coaches. I mean, there's a model for this. And I should say dollars, pounds. We have to figure that out. I know, Esther, you and Thomas are looking at that. But what excites me about this is when you build Emerald tribes and when you get to Diamond Coach building Emerald tribes, your income will be consistent. It'll be something your family can rely on. You're not going to worry about whether somebody has their order or not. It's just going to be rock solid. And so building to Diamond by building Emerald tribes is what we teach. It's what I'm passionate about. And it's all founded on the most important thing, which is find your little tribe of customers, build your little tribe of emeralds, and then as a diamond, build a tribe of emerald tribes.
Wow, powerful. And I know and sometimes it can be really overwhelming, I think, for when a coach comes in and they're aspiring to be a leader like yourself or like any of the other top coaches that we see over in the US and Canada, and for us here in the UK, with it being such a new market, you know, everyone's kind of looking up to the top leaders and the top 10 elite. And it does seem like a huge step. And I think the way you explain this just makes it sound so simple. And actually it is simple. And I think that, you know, when you say, look, just find 5 to 6 customers, meet customers where they're at, is a really great foundation. And I can absolutely see why your business is so strong, and your teams would be so strong as well. And it's, you know, that's like, to me, it's like you've just unlocked a door that's like, that's how we do it. And I mean, the incomes that you talked about, obviously for us, any income that Milan talked about in dollars, we just times it by our peg rate. So that's 0.77. That would be equivalent of how much you would earn in pounds. And I think, it is that easy to just look that step first. What's the first step? And the first foundational step is, you know, building a really strong Emerald Coach business. And, you know, that's where we're at in this UK market, is about, you know, building emeralds across the board. And before they reach and strive to that kind of diamond coach and being able to maintain that. So I think it's great tips that you've given there. Now you mentioned something about objections, and we did a training last night about objections. And I know when you spoke to Eric the other day, you said you didn't get many objections. And I know that this is because of the posture that you come with now versus, you know, a new coach that's starting out who would maybe get objections. So, you know, is there any hints and tips you can give to new coaches that are facing objections? Because it's a big part for us here at the moment. You know, cost is the biggest thing. And I know you've mentioned educating yourself on all of our, you know, products that we have. But is there anything else that you'd be able to give to these coaches that are going, oh, I'm terrified of objections? You know, some people are just afraid to even invite because they're afraid of getting that objection. So they're not even doing that part yet. So it's like, is there any tips that you could give with regards to overcoming objections and in building their confidence, I think, to be able to handle them rather than even giving solutions to how to answer them?
Right. It's a good question. So, and the world of objections, there are quite a few, the most common one being price point. So I'm just going to use that one as my primary example. And I think Eric did a good job in our interview of saying that what it comes down to is compared to what, of course, always. It's, if this feels expensive, it's compared to what and what the value is. And so a lot of times, so the number one thing I'll tell you about with objections is don't try to get into the selling or convincing mode. As soon as you go there, it doesn't feel good for you. It's like, that is not the posture I take. So the posture I always take is, I am your trusted advisor. I was in your shoes once. I'm trying to figure that. I had to figure it out too, right? So I had to handle those. And most of my response to objection is, I totally get it. Or I'll ask questions like, where did that come from? When people are like, is this network marketing one of those? I'm like, where did that come from? What's behind that objection? And I'm seeking information so that I can truly understand. I always relate to it because I want them to say, you know, she's like me. And if she's like me, then I can trust her. And she gets that I feel this. And so I will tell you that stay in the advisor role. Always ask myself, do I sound like I'm the advisor? Am I on their side of the fence? Am I seeking more information to understand? Or am I just trying to explain it, you know, sell features and benefits, you know, all of that kind of stuff? Then you're over on the selling side. And so when you're in the advisor role, it's really hard to, it's not about you. It's really about them the whole time. And I think when the fear comes, when you think the objection is really about you. And so in my mind, it's always about helping them make a decision. The final thing I'll tell you that really helps build posture around objections, and I like to talk a lot about mindset, is I always have the option to do what I like to call a graceful release. And it's something I teach every coach. So at any point, if somebody's super snarky or super like, like giving you like the big China wall, like you can't go there, then I always say, it sounds like this might not be where you're at right now. And I totally get that. It's much more important that I be your friend than I try to sell you into something or that you feel that way. And so maybe this isn't a fit. And what's really interesting is when you do the graceful release is when everything calms down, and you have that graceful release at any moment. So if you stay in the advisor role in your mind, if you make it about them and not you, and you always know you have the option to do a graceful release with them, then it takes a lot of the fear out of any objection that's out there. So that's my best advice. Usually when it comes to price point, I think people have a money mindset that is not just true about a Shakeology or about BOD or about anything of those. Their money mindset, what they're telling you about their fear around money, is present in their entire life. And so sometimes when I get price objections, I just want to talk about that. Like, how does money and your fear of not having enough or your fear of the cost of this, how's that impacting your life overall? And so, that's my best advice about that. I hope it's helpful.
I think it's really helpful. And, I think you're absolutely right. And I think here in the UK, yes, there's we have the economy challenges that everybody says that there's out there right now. But from what I see in our market here with pricing, there's the higher end stores are doing really well and the lower end stores are doing really well. So there's still there's still people out there looking for something like us. And there's definitely, some stuff going on up here that would impact that. And something you said really important there was relationships are more important than sales, is what I've got from, part of your conversation there. And it is, I think when I look at the 4 vital behaviors, and I talk about this a lot, with one of them being invite, I actually look at it as build relationships, build relationships, invite. It's because you get to that point where you've built relationships, and I know that's something you're extremely passionate about as well. It's build the relationships, and that's far more important than losing a friend over it. And that's what we're about as a company. Carl talks about it a lot, about sharing the love, and that's what we're about. And if we turn people off because we're too pushy, that's not us sharing the love. And so we've got so many options here in the UK. Of course, we don't have the 3-day refresh. We don't have, those products here. However, just quarterly Beachbody on demand for those that just want to work out.
Right.
And like you said, Energize, amazing product. And I've never thought of it as getting kids off of energy drinks, which is just, what a great alternative for them to take versus that. So, it is exploring the products and finding out where we can meet people where they're at, basically. So somebody has asked me about how they can access the New Coach University. Now, I know that this is something that you have created for your team. However, I know you've given me access to it, and we're going to be, getting you on as a guest to do some specific training from that. So for anyone that is wondering how they kind of access that, you're going to access it via Milan, and we're going to, get some more kind of interactions going on the kinds of things that Milan gives away. But actually, I would say a lot of the stuff that's in your Coach University, yes, it's been targeted towards your group, but there's a lot in our Coach Online office. Would you agree that, there is a lot there as well in our Coach Online office that you've kind of adapted and enhanced?
Yes. So I will tell you that so my approach to teams and all of that is that I don't know. I guess that to me, there's one team. And so I certainly make it available. I'll tell you that the struggle with Coach University is that it is focused on our product line in the US. So the UK team that's utilizing it knows how to adapt that, knows that, okay, we don't have that particular product as an example that we might be training on, but the core principles are there. So yes, I will make it available to anybody in any way that is helpful, but it is very close to what Beachbody's doing. I'll tell you the difference is, so I've told coaches, you don't really need Coach University. You can take what Beachbody's done. The only difference is that we expand beyond only talking about challenge packs and challenge groups. So we introduce coaches in the beginning into a menu of a few ways and a few things they can do beyond just starting a group and inviting to a group and selling challenge packs. And I think that that's part of our philosophy is let me help you get to 500 points, get your 6 to 10 customers. And I know, we're looking at lots of different ways to do that. Now, what's interesting is we always lean to the challenge pack because that's the best solution, but we don't want to lose somebody because of it. So that's the real difference in Coach University. The first part of it is customers. The second part of it is getting to Emerald and building Emeralds. So
fantastic. So I've got a question for you that I didn't send over to you originally, but I know you're going to know the answer to this. I'm very focused on, obviously we do a lot on social media right now. That's, you know, Instagram, Carl's talking about it in the 1x3x5 group, and Facebook's there. You know, we can't run away from it. And for you and I have been in this industry for many years now. You know, that's not how we started. And we started very much on the face-to-face. So I would really love you to kind of give value to actually kind of face-to-face communication and, you know, how you approached that, maybe when you got started, or even now if you're still doing it. Because we hear a lot about social media, but like there's another side to this, and how you can, you know, help build a team and support customers locally and in your own community. So, you know, you're happy to share something about how you used to do that? And
sure.
If you are still doing
still
it,
do it.
Still do it.
Yeah. Still do it because it's where my joy is. So, and I'll tell you that I coach a lot of coaches that are 20 years younger than I am that are very social media driven. The challenge I have with it is that I've noticed that it sometimes takes their joy away, being in front of their computer or on their iPhone all the time. I have a daughter that's in her mid-30s. She's a coach, and she said I actually took it off my cell phone because I needed to be present when I was present in the thing I'm doing. I still take my pictures. I still do Instagram, but I do it, you know, in the time that I'm in my office. So I think the issue with social media is boundaries, really. So face-to-face. It started by me asking myself, like, who do I want to surround myself with? Who do I want to be in my team? And really getting a clear picture of that, similar to what they tell you to do when you brand on social media. Branding to me is totally overrated, but that's okay. A lot of people do it. I want you to just think about, like, who do I want to lock arms with? And if a year from now, if your team is showing up at an event, what do you want that team to represent? Like, what's the culture? Who are these people? And then what happens when you do that is they start showing up. You get out in your life and you start living it, and you start noticing who those people are. And my job is simply to be the steward of the team that I'm building. And when I meet somebody and I see the characteristics of, you know, maybe I see my tribe is women 45 and over who are restless in their career, who maybe are successful, maybe not, burnt out, whatever. I'm looking for that woman who's asking the question, there must be more than this. So she shows up all the time. Funny thing. It's interesting that when you create that filter of who you want your tribe to be, that you start finding them. And I know that sounds strange, but it's actually true because it's what you're looking for. And I want to encourage you, if most of your business hours are behind your computer, your laptop, or on your phone, get out in your community, go have fun with people. And that's what I do. I'm an introvert, really. But when I'm out with people, I'm so genuinely curious about them that I go have fun. And if 9 times out of 10, I meet somebody, it goes nowhere with Beachbody, I'm totally cool with that because I just developed better my skill to interact with people. And so I'll tell you that the closest connection, the best successful coaches I have came from that way of bringing people into the tribe I have. It did not come from me leveraging social media at all. Not that I think social media isn't great. I think it's a great way to expand. Like a woman that was a customer 8 years ago found me back through social media. So I'm so grateful for it. But I think if it's the only thing you're doing, you risk feeling burnt out. Here's the other thing about social media that I think is a real challenge is you're most likely watching other people. So you're most likely watching the elites and the top 10s and the whoever, right? And so you're measuring your learning phase against somebody that's been leveraged on, when I say leveraged, you know, been active on social media for years. And so when you see somebody get a ridiculous amount, like 150 Success Club points, you're like, I can't get 2. Like, that does not serve you in any way. So you've got to run your own race at your own pace for your own reasons. And I'm constantly bringing coaches back into that. You know, run your own race, do it at your own pace in a way that keeps all the things you value in your life in boundary, and do it for your own reasons. And so I think it's easy when you're a new coach, SJ, to not necessarily know what your goal is. And so you're kind of watching the world to say, okay, I want to be like that. And that can really hurt. It's okay if you're not sure what your goal is. If your goal is to be diamond, like, what does that mean really? My goal at the beginning was just to prove I could do it. And what got me out with people and talking to people is to say, as a trusted advisor, there's this crazy company doing something really unique around health and fitness. I don't know, maybe it's a fit. Would you go through a discovery process with me? That would be my invitation. Simple. But I was always advising. I was never selling. And so, I don't know. I think I have a lot of, men and women in the 35 to 45 group who are like totally trying to crush it on social media. I'm like, don't give up on that, but let that be 50% of the time you spend on your laptop doing your business, or you risk losing the joy of what we really love doing. And so
powerful stuff. And and it's how I grew my business. That's, for me, what I know. And I think when you build a community, you create some amazing stories for Instagram and Facebook, with friends that you can build relationships, way quicker, because you're getting to see them and they see your emotion and your physiology when you're talking to them as well. And so it's so important. And I want others to know that the top coaches like yourself are not just doing social media, that you are also interacting with real people. So Milan, I'm really grateful for your time. The last thing I want you to do is share a couple of top tips, but also which is your favorite all-time personal development book. It's one of our 4 vital behaviors. We're very passionate about it. Everyone here in the UK, it's very new to them. And, it's great to hear which one your favorite is. And I know if you're anything like me, you've probably got about 5 or 10 favorites. But yeah, share which is your favorite, and then a top tips that you could give to the UK.
So I brought them with me. So you guys are going to hear me always say GoPro. And that's because this is skills. This is what sometimes we don't teach. And so if you want skills, this is the best, most professional skill book that I know of around what we do. Miracle Morning for network marketing is a behavioral book. So it really teaches you how to start your day every day in a way that's going to bring you a lot of joy, feel grounded and confident. And the personal practices in this are life-changing for most of our coaches. And then the book I'm reading, right, is Gabrielle Bernstein, The Universe Has Your Back. This is a book that has grounded me back down to feeling unstoppable and feeling like I really can't screw this up, that it doesn't really matter what happens today, and this leads me to my biggest tip. My biggest tip is, and any coach that's ever been with me from the very beginning till now will hear me say, to care more about who you're becoming than what you achieve. And we tend to be a very achievement, recognition-driven community. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is try to not get overly tied up in that and care more about who you're becoming. And when you're setting goals, think about, who do I want to become in this? A year from now, there's achievements I might want to make, but like, how does that strengthen who I am as a husband or wife, as a mother, father, as a woman or man in my community? I mean, who are you becoming? In the end, I know a lot of very wealthy people and achieved entrepreneurs in all kinds of businesses who are empty, who are lost, who are disconnected and not necessarily happy. And that's not what I want for you. I think at the heart of this is about creating a business you love, something you're really proud of, where the most important part of that success will always be, who are you becoming? How well are you taking care of yourself? And who are you in the lives of the people you love? And if you stay there, this will always bring you joy. If you stay there, that's the energy and the posture you will bring to everyone you meet. Because from the moment somebody's watching you, they're watching you in this business. And that's my fondest hope. I guess the other thing is think long term. I told my friends in the beginning, I don't know where we're going to be in 6 months, honestly. I don't even have this all figured out yet. But what I do know is if we lock arms together, we can do something really amazing. And that's what I believed in, and that's what I recruited them into. So that's my tip.
Wow, powerful stuff, Milan. I'm so grateful to have you on here as our first real kind of SJ chat with. You have given lots of information, great nuggets there for our UK coaches and our new business that we have here. And we are extremely grateful for your kind of servant-driven leadership that you just display for everybody here in the UK. And I know you've helped many people outside of your team as well. in getting started. So huge thank you for being on here. I'm sure there may be some questions appearing as people get to watch this after they've maybe done the school run or got in from work. And if you don't mind just kind of staying in touch with this thread, just in case anyone does have any questions for you, they can post it in the comments below. And I know Milan will kind of support you. But again, thank you so much, Milan. I can't wait for us to kind of meet up with you at Summit again this year. It's exciting. I think we've got about 125 coaches coming. If there's one thing you can give to everybody in the UK as to why they should be there, just end it with why they should be at Summit and why that's so important too. And then we'll kind of sign off from this call.
Right. So I have fallen in love with the people of the UK. I had a beautiful experience there the first time. I'm literally looking on my calendar, like, how can I get there as quick as possible? Excited about doing retreats together with SJ in the end of this year. At some point, we've got to plan that. But I'll tell you that Summit is where you get the real energy and the sense that I am a part of something so much bigger than what I even imagined. And that's what I want you to experience, because what happens when you realize that you're a part of the bigger cause, the bigger work that's happening, that it's what gets you up every day. It's why you can't not do this, is because you realize that it isn't just you in your home with your computer trying to make something happen. It is, you are connected to something powerful. Not only that, but you're going to get some of the greatest tips. And I think the tips and the trainings are all nice, but you know what? It's what happens when you're sitting in the elevator or on a chair or standing in line with somebody, and the friendships that you make that are, they're life sustaining. I mean, they're just, I want the people of the UK, the coaches of the UK, to experience that level of connection, because it'll carry you for the next year, and that's what causes your business to grow. You become unstoppable from it. So I hope to see you guys. And it's an investment. I know it's an investment. And if you're looking at that and saying it's going to cost me this much money, look at the number, whatever that number is, and say, and what would I need to do coming out of Summit, between Summit and the end of the year, to make this an investment, not an expense? That's something completely possible. And, we'll probably focus on having a game plan coming out of Summit where it isn't an expense. It's an investment in you and your business that you will recover quickly post-Summit to the end of the year. And so I hope you make that investment in yourself. That's it.
Amazing. Thank you, Milan. Super advice. So for our UK coaches, if you are watching this on replay, please tag your teams below. Make sure that everybody gets to listen to this. I think there's been some amazing nuggets here on all kinds of topics today. So tag your team. Say a huge thank you to Milan. Send us tons of love. And I really appreciate all of your time, Milan. And I will see you very soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.